Damage resistance in PvP is back. Bungie, when will you learn? Yes, with the press of a button you can now survive a hand cannon 3-tap and you can survive an LC's 2-burst, and that's just the start. You can actually make this even worse. So today I'm bringing you the next dominant PvP meta. Prismatic Hunter, step aside. Behemoth Titan is back on the menu. I'll place a build link down in the comments or description below. So with the episode Revenant, a ton of exotics got some huge changes, and the biggest change for the PvP landscape is the rework to Icefall Mantle. Icefall Mantle, when using your class ability, now instantly gives you ×5 Frost Armor, along with some healing and other benefits. Frost Armor gives you damage resistance, so any incoming damage is reduced with each stack. Each stack gives you 2% damage reduction in PvP or 4.5% damage reduction in PvE. So 5 stacks in PvP is a 10% damage reduction. For some reason I thought this Icefall Mantle still slowed you down when activating the perk, but I think Bungie may have changed that a little while back, so this thing is actually viable in a ton of activities now. I'm not even going to touch on the PvE applications here because that really does deserve its own video. That's how good something like Icefall Mantle is with Wicked Implement in PvE now. Now a 10% damage reduction alone is TTK defining. A 140 RPM hand cannon usually hits for 81, allowing you to 3-tap an opponent. Now with a 10% damage reduction, your opponent's hand cannon shots now hit for 72, so they need to do 3 headshots and 1 body shot to kill you, which does take dramatically longer. It's the same for Elsie's rifle, another meta PvP weapon in the current sandbox. It won't kill you in 2 bursts with that lightning fast 0.67 TTK any longer. For Icefall Mantle to work, you need to have a Stasis super equipped. You can only really run this on 2 subclasses, Stasis or Prismatic. My initial thoughts were that Prismatic would have the superior kit for PvP, but boy was I wrong. Stasis is where it's at, and it's not even close. With the Stasis specific fragment, Whisper of Rime, we can actually get up to 8 stacks of Frost Armor and now get up to 14 seconds of it. So now you have 16% damage reduction in PvP. Now something like Elsie's rifle hits you for even lower and requires now 6 headshots and 2 body shots. 2% damage reduction may seem small, but with enough stacks it can dramatically change the TTK value of so many guns. So now you can pop your class ability and every 25 to 30 seconds or so you will have 14 seconds of 16% damage reduction, which will allow you to win most 1v1 duels with ease. It doesn't even end there. With Stasis specifically, we can increase Frost Armor uptime even more with our Stasis aspects. We use Tectonic Harvest, which allows us to create Stasis shards from Stasis crystals, which when picked up now gives us stacks of Frost Armor as well. We use this with Glacier Grenade and Cryoclasm to create 5 Stasis shards. So now we can also use this ability before an engagement to give us ×5 Frost Armor. The wild thing about this method of gaining Frost Armor is that it creates Stasis shards for your entire fire team. Yes, if you have multiple Behemoth Titans, they will all benefit from these Stasis shards as well, as long as they're also running Tectonic Harvest. So running triple Behemoth Titan is going to be absolutely awful again, because they're going to have near 100% uptime on at least Frost Armor ×5, which as we demonstrated before is TTK defining enough. We can actually boost this grenade regeneration further with 2 fragments. Whisper of Shards, which gives us 150% increased grenade regeneration for up to a maximum of 11 seconds after breaking any Stasis crystal. And then we also have Whisper of Torment, which gives us 7% grenade energy every time we take damage, with a 1-second internal cooldown. This actually increases to 12% grenade energy regeneration with Frost Armor active. So yeah, you're going to have your Glacier Grenade back in literally 20 to 30 seconds as well. So now by using your Glacier Grenade and your class ability to trigger Frost Armor, you will have 100% uptime on damage reduction. It's actually broken. The other thing to mention in this build is that Shiver Strike also got buffed in this episode and is now an incredible movement tool. If you don't actually use the melee but use it for movement, you'll gain 80% of your melee energy back each time you use it. And remember, Stasis Shards gives you melee energy back, so you're going to have this ability up at all times. If you thought that was the end of this build, well, unfortunately it gets even worse. The perk Slice is now active in the Crucible. Slice, when you use your class ability, allows you to apply Sever to enemies, which is a further 15% debuff. The great thing is that all it relies on you doing is activating your class ability, which we're already doing in the build, so you don't need to do anything different to benefit from this perk on top. So when you combine the 16% damage reduction from Frost Armor ×8 with Slice's 15% debuff, an enemy's 140 RPM hand cannon headshot will now hit for for just 58. It will take them 3 headshots and 2 body shots to kill you. Yes, 5 shots, that's double the TTK from 0.87 seconds to 1.73 seconds. The weapon you can see me using a lot in the background footage is Lethal Abundance, which is a 360 RPM auto rifle which also got buffed with Revenant and feels really good. This is obtained from Iron Banner, so keep a lookout for this next time Iron Banner rolls around. You'll want a roll with Slice on it. There are some other really good options for Slice as well, which from the top of my head include guns like the Better Devils or the Raid SMG Imminence, which will also be very competitive in the current sandbox. But honestly, you don't need to use a Slice weapon. You can stick with your Rose or your Elsie's rifle and just use Icefall Mantle with Stasis Titan. It will be enough to dominate. So let's go over my build, the mods I'm using, my stat distribution and the artifact perks this season that could make this even more nutty. I'm running Glacial Quake as my super, Rally Barricade, Catapult Lift, Shiver Strike, which as I mentioned is an amazing movement tool now. We have Glacier Grenade, which is our second source of frost armor, and then our 2 aspects are Cryoclasm and Tectonic Harvest, which allows our Glacier Grenade to also be a source of stasis shards. Our fragments are Whisper of Rime to increase the stacks of frost armor and duration, Whisper of Torment and Whisper of Shards, which both boost our grenade regeneration. And finally, I use Whisper of Conduction for my 4th slot because it gives us 10 resilience and 10 intellect, which are useful stats, but it also makes our stasis shards track towards us. So when you slide through a Glacier Grenade using Cryoclasm, you don't need to worry about picking up each stasis shard perfectly when you're in the heat of battle and don't have the time to do that. In terms of armor mods, on my class item I'm running Reaper, so we generate an orb of power after getting a kill within 10 seconds of using our class ability. We also have 2 bomber mods, so we get a chunk of grenade energy back when we use our class ability. Our boots then have 2 copies of Insulation and 1 copy of Absolution to maximize class ability regeneration when picking up that orb of power. The rest of your mods run the relevant unflinching, dexterity and targeting mods based on the weapons you're using. I haven't even touched on artifact perks yet because it's the start of the season, but there's one perk that really stands out and will make this build even more broken. And that's the artifact perk in the final column, Served Cold. This will make our stasis shards grant class ability energy, meaning when we use our Glacier Grenade to get frost armor, it will give us back our class ability for Icefall Mantle as well. Honestly, when people unlock this will be unbearable in the Crucible. For my stat distribution, the #1 priority here is 100 resilience. This reduces class ability regeneration time so you can use Icefall Mantle more, and it increases your HP in PvP so guns take more shots to kill you in general. Then you want 100 discipline or as close to it as possible to minimize Glacier Grenade time. Finally, try and get high recovery for your 3rd stat to minimize the time it takes to start regenerating health. And aim for intellect, strength, and mobility in that order. So there you have it, the new PvP meta is here, Behemoth Icefall Mantle Titan. Titans are the true tank class again, even in PvP. If you enjoyed what I talked about today, remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Destiny builds, both PvE and PvP. I'm Mr. Ronnet, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.